Welcome back, YouTube. This is Dave Lucas with Injection Molding Skills and More. Today I'm going to go over nozzle tips, the different nozzle tips they have, the ones that have the filters inside of them. Some of them have mixing components inside of them, like filters, different styles of filters to catch like metals and stuff like that. I wanted to show you how you can tell when you need to change your nozzle tip, because if you have it too big, it'll shear. If you have it too small, then you're going to be having a higher pressures going into your mold. So I'm going to show you guys a couple little videos before I show you these nozzle tips and runners, okay?
Comparing the three designs, there are advantages and disadvantages to using each. The general purpose nozzle tip can have a dead spot that could alter material properties and potentially create molding challenges. This design choice may not be ideal when frequent color or mold changes are required. Lastly, the small orifice diameter and long land length could cause high shear heating and big pressure drops. The reverse taper nozzle design has a larger diameter at the intersection to the sprue bushing, so it won't freeze as quickly as the general purpose design. The design requires the sprue to be partially pulled out of the nozzle tip by breaking at the thinnest section. This is a challenging process that is highly dependent on the temperature behavior of the nozzle tip. The free flow tip is a good alternative to the general purpose nozzle because the free flow internal design eliminates the potential dead spot. The orifice can also be adjusted to the need of the mold cold sprue bushing. Although opening the free flow nozzle will allow the material to drool out, the increased land length will counter this effect.
Okay, so this would be a shut-off nozzle. A lot of companies are using this style of nozzle to help with drool and stuff. I wanted to show you guys this. So these are different nozzle tips that have spring-loaded stuff in them to where they make it to where they're a shut-off tip. So they're a little different. So these are the kind of some of the new ideas that a lot of people have came up with. So they got spring in that one. This one's got like a plunger system on it. This one has the thing where it shuts it off. So what happens is it goes forward and shuts the material off so it doesn't drool out into the machine. Same concept, just a little bit different design. Now some of these right here have different kinds of plungers inside of them. This one's like a mixing one because it's got the little grooves inside of there. So this one you could use to mix colors with, see it? That's like a filter inside there to help it with mixing and stuff. Now we used to use at a place I used to work at, we used to use this next style. We used to use this style all the time right there, is what we used to use a lot of. And material would flow through there and help you mix. So I hope you guys enjoyed this part of the video. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed a little bit of the videos. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is, let me pull the camera over here. So here's some nozzle tips. So you have the different size tips here. You can see these are all general purpose tips. They're straight through tips. You can see straight through. So this is what we use here. The most of is general purpose tips. We don't use reverse nylon tips or anything like that. I wanted to show you this is a runner, and you can see the end of the runners not right. You can see how this part of it is. What you're trying to achieve is you're trying to achieve something like this. So you always want to go one size smaller than whatever the orifice, I mean not the the hole on the back of the sprue bushing is. So on the back of the mold, you always want to go one size smaller. They make like little gauges that you could use to actually check that. I have one actually right here. Let me see. So they have these little gauges that you could use. Oops, sorry. So they have these. So what you'd have is you'd have something like this. And what you'd do is you'd measure the back of the sprue bushing, and then you'd put it in these, and then find out what size that is. You know, and it'd tell you exactly what size you're using. So you could use that, and you can easily get them through PPE. They sell them, they're cheap as heck, like $1 or something. But your goal is to try to get your runner to where you're one size smaller all the time than what you have. Now, if you go way too small, your pressures are going to be really, really high. So you don't want that. You don't want your pressures to be really high. So the goal is to try to get your runner to be one size smaller than what the sprue bushing is on the back of the mold. If you don't, and you go too small, you're going to have higher pressures, which will mess you up. Now, if you go too big, what will happen is you'll shear. So you're hitting like land around the sprue bushing, a little bit of the metal, and it'll shear right there. So you'll end up getting burn marks, streaks, stuff like that on your parts, and you don't want that. So you want to try to eliminate that by doing this with your nozzle tips. So all your nozzle tips, if you do that, you can actually create issues that you don't even realize with your nozzle tip. So, and everybody knows how to change the nozzle tip. It's pretty simple. You go in, you pull the mold you're putting in, you go ahead and you get a 7/8 wrench, which our wrench that we use most of the time is like this. You'll use gloves, you use heat sleeves, you have your safety glasses, you'll have all your PPE on. You'll take this wrench, you'll break it loose. Sometimes you can run it through the platen and actually break it loose that way too. Then you take it off, you clean it real good. And this is after you've already done your, done everything you're supposed to do. You'll put anti-seize on it and then thread it back into the nozzle body, okay? And then once you're done, you should be good to go. This will help you out big time on the processing side, okay? So always remember to check your nozzles. A lot of people don't ever do it. This is the biggest thing that I see a lot of molders do, that they don't check the nozzle tips. So here we make sure that we change nozzle tips. You can see all of the nozzle tips here. I got all different sizes, but like I said, we use general purpose tips here. That's all we ever use. So like I said, here's what they look like. All right, guys, my damn GoPro shut off. I don't know what happened really, but I just wanted you guys to see the nozzle tips and see how they actually work. A lot of people don't understand how that affects the molding cycle or molding process of a press. So always double check your nozzle tips. Till next time, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all the support to the channel. Till next time, peace.